is Marsha Almodovar. So I am a painter. I do a lot of bold colors, and I paint women that are voluptuous and nude. So growing up, I didn't see a lot of representation of thicker bodies. Most of the art that I grew up seeing were sort of Eurocentric beauty standards, and as I went through life and having different body issues and looking at myself and the images that I saw around me, I didn't see a lot of reflection of bigger women, of Latina women, of these bright, bold colors. And so in order to sort of help me overcome some of the issues that I had, because there wasn't a lot of representation around me, I created works of art that I thought would be beautiful and bold and exciting. When I initially first started painting, it just came naturally. I was looking at different paintings around me and what was out there in the world, and it just sort of, it came to be. And then, it sort of fits my idea of what I wanted to express in the world. An essay called Uses of the Erotic, and it really resonated with me. How when you look at a female figure, in our puritanical society, it's only one notion. It's for the male gaze. And, we kind of minimize our own eroticism as women throughout the world, where it's in everything that we touch. It's in the way we mother. It's in the way we garden. It's in the way we cook. And it's the way we practice almost everything. And we've sort of stripped ourselves from that to appease this white colonial Eurocentric standard of living. And in a society like ours, I think to bring that back, to bring in your feminine power. And I hear all those words all the time about feminine divine and all these pieces. And this is a way that I feel like brings me back more to my indigenous nature. And my roots is to express myself in this way and show different body types and the colors and the sensuality, with not only being for the male gaze, but there's so many different parts of being a woman, and my art expresses that. I think being feminine for me, and I'm blessed to know that that is right for me, and it fits with who I am, and I understand that that's not for everybody. Everybody doesn't have that when they're born and realize that femininity is part of who they are at their core. And it takes a different journey for people to feel right in that. And for me, I was blessed with knowing that this is who I was, and my outlook in the world and how I present myself is. And so I was able to sort of lean more into that part of my being. I think by femininity, my sensuality and eroticism all tie in to all facets of my life. Being a mother, being a good coworker, or anything I do, it's part of the fabric of who I am. I've tried to suppress that a bit and not show up fully, but now that I embrace it and understand more about myself and my place in the world, I'm able to show up fully for that and those parts of myself. Oh yeah, all the time. I mean, I've worked in certain organizations where it was like, looking the way I do, you're dressed too sexy, and that sort of, that professionalism, which is, I think it's part of the patriarchy. Dressing a certain way and being a certain way is considered professional, but I think as a Latina woman, I'm not the only one who's experienced that. Just showing up can be too much for some people, in certain ways, especially image-wise. People want to hear Latinx women or people speak, but not be too bold and present themselves, in the world too secure. So I've had all sorts of backlashes, from being dress coded as an adult to making people feel uncomfortable with my work. I've seen so many people be like, well, we can't hang that work up because it's nude and we don't want to offend, children or men. And I always think that's so funny because being naked is part of being a mother and being part of the world. And I think having education surrounding our society about our puritanical notions around that, I think it's an interesting conversation to have. So for me, I think our society has so many rules on what to be, what not to be, how to show up, and it's sort of, based on religion, as our country is founded on. And I think that for me, it is unnatural to have all those expectations and have all those rules imposed. It's not part of my indigenous nature. It's not part of my culture. It's not part of the roots of who I am. And so I think imposing other beliefs on a whole different set of people and saying that's right or that's wrong, it just goes against my very nature. Yeah, I think a lot of artists, but me personally, this work is a way to heal myself. It's a way to, to look at my own body and accept beauty in it. It's a way, just swirling the paints together and smelling them and washing my brushes, all that brings me back to myself over and over, which is really healing. Yeah, I think that all goes hand in hand. Intersectionality. I think I'm not just an artist. I'm not just a woman. I'm not just a mother. I'm all those things. And there's no way to separate one from another. It is just part of who I am. And I just think it just all intersects together and it's all wrapped up in one. I have some shows coming up. I do a lot of pop-up things and rotating events, but you can, if you follow my work on Instagram, I always keep that up to date, and it's just my first and last name, Marsha Almodovar, and I have all my work on there. It's Marsha Almodovar.